Hello, welcome to Talking Tennis. Welcome to our stream of Ons Jabeur v Jessica Pegula, a highly anticipated one. It's me, Jack, and I am joined by Ashley. How are we doing, Ashley?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yeah, I'm very excited for this one. I thought the last match Jabeur played against Sabalenka was incredible. It was really, really good. Pegula's a little bit ropier, maybe, but still expecting a good level from her. I'm more excited to see Jabeur today, and I'm sure a lot of viewers at home are as well. How do you feel about Jabeur?
Yeah, so I didn't catch all of Jabor's match last time because I fell asleep. 'Cause it was pretty late for me, and I've been working in overdrive here
Yeah.
in Alabama. But from what I saw of it, it was a pretty entertaining match. I wish I could have stayed up a little bit longer, but the body said nope. I'm always excited. I'm always excited to catch a Jabeur match. I think she's really fun and entertaining. Jessica Pegula was pretty tight in her first match. I did a stream for that one. But it wasn't her cleanest match, but she still pushed us Sakura to 2 tie breaks. So I think if she cleans it up today, she can make things interesting against Ange today.
I suppose the first question is who's your pick for favourite? I'm happy for you to go first, and then I can chime in.
Yeah, so a favorite. So I did some digging onto their head-to-head, and it's 3-2 Ons, and Ons has won a couple of matches on hard against Jessica Pegula, which is something that people may not expect, including earlier this year in Dubai in the 4th round or round of 16.
Yep.
That was a 6-3, 6-1 for Ons. And then, of course, her most recent win was Madrid on clay. So I think I want to back Ons. I pick maybe Ons in 3. I think having that win over someone who's pretty good on hard court can give her some confidence. And then I'm still not sure if Jessie is really there yet. We'll see how she comes out. She's kind of been, I think, a prisoner of the moment. This is her first, I believe, not ATP. God, she's not a dude. WTA final. So it could be a lot for her. I feel like Ons has been a touch more bigger, a couple more bigger moments than Jessie has been in this season. So maybe it's not too big for her. We'll see though. I'll take Ons in 3 pretty competitive sets.
Yeah. I mean, I'm picking Ons as well, Ashley. Honestly, I think it could be not one-sided, but I think looking at that Dubai match in particular, 6-3, 6-1. I don't know if we've had a more one-sided loss for Pegula the entire year, actually. Jabeur's probably handed her worst defeat of 2022. So, I'm kind of looking at that, and I have seen them play before, and I think a lot of stuff falls Jabeur's way. Pegula quite likes to mix stuff up herself. Some people don't really realize that. She's got her own sort of slices going on. She likes to place the ball a lot. Jabeur kind of does the placing of the ball better than her, and she slices the ball, etc., does all the variety stuff better as well. So there's quite a lot of advantages for Jabeur that really make me think maybe even straight sets, Ashley. I'm thinking.
I'm trying to give Jessie the benefit of the doubt. I think this is a pretty fast court, which suits Ange's game a little bit more than Jabeur, like you mentioned earlier with the variety and the placement of her shots. I do pick up on sometimes where Jessie, especially when she gets nervous, her placement of the shots, her angles are not as sharp or as clean as it can be when she's confident with her placement or with her ground strokes. So to me, I think it's whoever comes out and is more confident and willing to take control of the match early on. If that makes sense. That's me. I want to say Ons in 3 because I said Jessica Pegula in 2, and then Sakura 1 and 2, and I'm just like, I'm gonna play it safe today. Let's see how that goes.
Jabeur, by the way, has held her first game, and she's now making inroads in the Pegula return game there with an amazing backhand drive volley. I don't know if you're in the same point of the match as me, Ashley, but that put away there was great. At the moment, 15-30 to Jabeur on Pegula's first game, possibly. Are you there?
I'm a bit behind. I think Jessica's serve just hit a second serve. I think I'm at the point that you're
at 15-0.
Yes, 15-0. Oh, I'm a bit behind. This American Wi-Fi is not good.
in that case, I'll zip back a bit. Now it's just turned 15-30 since I went back 20 seconds. Are we kind of in sync?
Yes, kind of in sync. Yes,
Just about. Hopefully,
just about.
I can't go a whole 20 seconds ahead of you. That's ridiculous. I was gonna say to debunk that. Sorry, Ashley. So going into the tournament, I think a lot of people expected fast, hard American courts that favor the serve. It turns out whatever they've put in the courts, and it's a recurring theme throughout the year, it is incredibly slow. Actually,
Oh wow,
yeah. So it's really
interesting.
not playing fast at all. So we saw Sabalenka struggling to hit through the courts a little bit, but actually she found her game really well. It was more Pegula who hits the ball very flat, who was struggling to
Yes,
find that shot over and over again to consistently put the opponent on the back foot. So it does seem to be Pegula that's going to get the worst end of the stick, so to speak.
yes. So she does like her shots to be a lot flatter than most people.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and I don't. She doesn't like to put a lot of shape, and nor when she does, her shots tend to go long when she tries to put
Yeah,
shape and air under the ball. So that could be a very big problem for Jessica.
yeah.
I
I was Sorry, I was gonna just add to that and say you're quite right, because that's why she won in Guadalajara, where your topspin doesn't work so well. You don't need as much shape on the ball. You can rely on the other person missing. Like, she was perfect at just sort of massaging the ball into the corners, made Sakkari look like she was like a top 100 player rather than a top 10 player.
right.
She was great, but in these conditions, maybe not so much, especially since she doesn't have the best serve in the game. She doesn't have the most consistency when she's asked to play really, really long rallies and the balls aren't going through the court. Yeah, it could be interesting, Ashley. What were you going to say?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was agreeing with everything you just said.
Okay, cool. Great. On that note, it's Juice, by the way, Pegula. On Pegula's serve, I should say. Jabeur making a lot of plays already, returns in particular. I mean, Jabeur has always been a great returner, but and we saw it with Caroline Garcia against who was Carol Garcia against Coco Gauff.
Yes.
She was taking a lot of those serves super early. If Jabeur could do the same thing, it favors people who can get the returns back to the other player's toes early in the rally. So Jabeur is
Yeah.
one of those players. I could see that happening over and over again.
Yes. And Jessica's serve is not one of the best on tour. So she can definitely challenge Jessica and kind of rush her on that first ball after serve, which is pretty important on a court like
Right
that.
on cue, by the way, right on cue. I don't know if you saw that point, but went
Yes.
straight to Jessica's toes. Has stayed in the rally, by the way. I can talk through the end of this point. Yeah, Jabeur pushed it along, so we're evens 1-1. Pegula on the board, but Pegula definitely the more troubled of the two early doors.
Yes, yeah, you can just tell Jessica's not comfortable. We'll see because she worked her way back into the match. Like I said, against soccer, she forced it to 2 tie breaks. So she worked her way in the middle of that, in the middle of those sets, but
Yeah,
slow starts for her. And I think
yeah,
like if I think Johns is pretty decent when she has the lead. When she's when she's troubled, she kind of breaks down, but when she has a lead, she does it really well.
yeah.
So we'll see if Jessica can kind of pick up the pace or try to figure out something like she did against Zachary, or else it could be a tough day in the office for Jessica.
It's quite hard to know when the Jabeur game is ropey. Actually, I agree as well, Ashley. But there's times where the forehand in particular can kind of go off the rails. One shot in particular on the forehand side is that short one sometimes that she needs to put away if she's nervy and she can't accelerate her hand for it. I'm talking Swiatek at the US Open final in the second set
Yes.
tiebreak. There was one I remember she pushed long.
Yes.
Last night, or 2 nights ago against Sabalenka, another one, really important one, I believe, to go like 6-3 up in the tiebreak or something like that. Again, pushes it long. She's just a little bit nervy in that department. And yeah, if it does get tight, I could see the forehand breaking down first, actually.
Yeah, the forehand definitely is very susceptible to being breaking down first when she gets nervy. I was thinking of that Iga Swiatek point
Yeah.
at the U.S. Open final because I remember I picked Iga to win in the fantasy, but of course I love rooting for the underdog. Hence the Eagle shirt.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
I love rooting for the underdog, and I remember that point and just going, ugh. I just gasped. I was just so upset that she missed it. But yeah, I do hope that she kind of keeps her nerves together because if that forehand breaks down, it can make life a little bit harder for Hans.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
Yeah, and I say a little bit. It might make it a lot harder.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be nice, but like it might make it a lot harder than it needs to be.
we're saying it as Ashley. I imagine the majority of the people watching this, and just because I know the nationality of people that tend to watch Talking Tennis, a lot of them are going to be fans of Jabeur. But we're saying it as it is. You know, the forehand does break down. Right on cue, she puts one in the net, by the way, and it's break point to Pegula. We're just trying to be honest. I love odds, but yeah, our forehand is a bit ropey sometimes.
We jinxed her there. We jinxed her.
I know we did. Yeah. We could talk about all the stuff that works well. And yeah, also she just pushed another forehand long, so it is Pegula that gets the first break. I promise we're not trying to put some sort of commentator's curse on her or anything like that. I'm sure it'll come back. Why don't we talk about the good stuff in Jabeur's game just while they're doing the change of ends, Ashley? Obviously she's got all that variety. I'm just going to throw a curveball though. And for me, okay, the variety is great, but when you see her sort of court level and stuff, and you can see how well she hits the backhand sometimes, like the amount of height over the net, the half volleys and stuff. That's the thing that blows me away the most. Some of them are ridiculous.
Yeah, she can get a lot of height on over the net with her backhand, and it's pretty fun to see. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing Ons live. I think but when I see it courtside, you can just tell, like when they have the courtside angles on TV, you can just tell just how much she can clear the net. And her backhand is probably one of my favorites on the WTA tour. Just because of how well she can consistently hit it. But that's one of my favorite shots. Of course, we can't talk about Ons without talking about her variety, her slices, her volleys, just her presence at the net, especially in an era today where not a lot of WTA players kind of want to go to the net, or they're I guess if they have to, they only come up when they have to. Her willingness to just go up there and just kind of figure it out from there. I appreciate. Sometimes she gets it right, sometimes she gets it wrong. But hey, man, I love somebody with good net presence.
Yeah, totally. She's a little bit more wild with her decisions to go to the net than some others in the draw this week.
Yes.
For me, my favorite has got to be Cara Garcia, who finished off points against Goff really, really nicely last night. Made that 6-4, 6-3 win look like Goff was playing badly, when in reality Goff didn't play terribly. Garcia was just great. So yeah, net play stuff, definitely Garcia for me. Jabeur's up there, but yeah, some of the decisions leave you scratching your head sometimes, right?
Yeah, they definitely do. I sit there, I was like, I kind of see the vision Ons, but I personally would have not done it. Cara Garcia, I did not catch that match. I was against Coco Gauff. I did catch some highlights of it, and Caroline was just absolutely all over that court last night. And honestly, I wish I had caught it live. As a Coco fan, I probably would have been upset, but I respect game respects game. And
yeah, exactly.
Caroline was just on point last night.
Yeah, Gauff wasn't terrible. That's the thing. She played a lot of crazy defensive points. As she does, that's maybe her forte, right? But yeah, other stuff going well as well with the backhand. But yeah, Garcia just planting return after return to her toes. Not really much Gauff could do. And honestly, Garcia's got a chance against Swiatek for me.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I think anyone has a fighting chance. Tennis is an any given day sport. But I think if Caroline brings the same level that she brought against Coco yesterday, I think that level could like push Iga to a point. And I agree with that statement. I agree. I would like to see it. I would love to see a competitive match between those two. I think it could be really fun and entertaining.
Yeah, she's beaten her this year, of course.
Yes.
Of course, Ashley. Yeah, she beat her in Warsaw. The one player of the 20 matches against the WTA finalists that Swiatek lost. So that's 19-1 against the rest of the WTA finalists.
That's a crazy record. That's absolutely insane.
It did. It left me a bit speechless when I heard it as well. It's quite a good segue actually, because it's worth talking about the records of Jabeur and Pegula, who both are fairly poor in that department actually. Top 10 wins in general, pretty low. 2022, pretty low. It's generally been other players they've been beating. Obviously, Pegula tends to bar last week, of course, tends to get to the latter stages of tournaments and doesn't quite get the title because that was our first title in 3 years, obviously. Jabeur, similar-ish stories sometimes. Obviously, she was able to beat Pegula in the Madrid final, but that could be the only one off the top of my head for a top 10 win this year, bar the one in Dubai, of course, as well. So that's 2, although Pegula might not have been a top 10 player at that point. But yeah, anyway, the point is the two of them have had struggles playing against the best players in the game. They, in some ways, go in as the underdogs of this group. Obviously, having both lost their first matches, I did feel Sakari gets business done at the starts of tournaments, right? It's only when the nerves kick in, when, there's a final on the line or a title on the line, that stuff starts to get a bit ropey. Yeah, Sakari was a little bit ropey yesterday as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if she comes out and plays a blinder against the other player in this group, who is... I've forgotten. Who did Jabeur play? Sabalenka, that was it.
Sabalenka,
I wouldn't be surprised,
yes.
yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if she plays a blinder against Sabalenka. But yeah, anyway, Jabeur, do you think that I'm being harsh? Could she even win the WTA Finals?
I don't think you're being harsh. I think this is Iga's to lose at this point. Yeah. I haven't seen too much from the other players that show that.
Do you just see that? Jabeur tweener?
Yes, I just saw it. It caught me mid-sentence.
I know, sorry. Oh my God.
The tweeter caught me mid-sentence in a year gap.
What a shot from Jabeur. Oh, she lost the point, but still, oh my God.
Listen, whether you win or lose the point, I always love a good tweeter.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, in order to win an event like the WTA Finals, you have to beat the best of the best. And the person that's done it consistently throughout the season is Iga. And to bring up that point about Ons struggling against top 10 players in a tournament where there's very, very little room for error like this. It's important to see if she can handle being against the top so soon. It's because there's no tournament like where you will face a top player this early, or especially if you're a seeded player, because you kind of get protected from that. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. Maria, I kind of figured that Maria could probably push Pegula, even though I picked Pegula in 2, because Maria does do better at the beginning of the tournaments, where it's Jessica. I think Jessica kind of has to work her way through a tournament. There's some times where she has some tight matches at the beginning, and this is not a tournament that you can work your way into.
No, exactly. It's unforgiving.
It's a very unforgiving tournament. Like I said,
do you see that?
Yeah.
Speaking of unforgiving, Jabeur's missed forehand there earns Pegula another break, and she now leads 4-1. This is got to be a set to forget, I imagine.
Yes, we're probably gonna flush this down the toilet.
I know. Yeah, I'll update our banner there. Leads by a double break, 4-1. Yeah, you're quite right. Anyway, I mean, when you say beat the best of the best to win these tournaments, Swiatek really is the person. That's why, honestly, Cara Garcia kind of leads the field for me as the player with the second best chance, just because her game is the only one that can challenge Swiatek's for me in some ways. Look, I'll be real, obviously. When Jabeur reached that level that she reached in the US Open final, eventually Jabeur was looking like the sort of player for me that could have challenged Swiatek if she'd sustained it. But the problem is sustaining it, and a lot of the time Jabeur has these spells in matches where she really redlines and she's unplayable. But yeah, in conditions that don't suit her, it's really difficult to see her continuing that for a whole match, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. It's for some reason Ons has a hard time of maintaining a high level of competitive nature, or a high level of quality tennis. It's kind of like a weird purple patch that consistently pops up in every match. But yeah, I think like Caroline Garcia, I think her game is probably the most complete in the field.
Yeah.
She does tend to play better when she's confident and has a lot of momentum, which honestly, beating Coco a top player, not only in singles but in doubles, can give you a lot of momentum heading into the next match. And quite frankly, Caroline doesn't need to be perfect in the round robin stage. She can go 2-1 and still be in decent shape.
I mean, you'd fancy her to beat Kasatkina, right? And that's all she has to do, really.
Yes, that's all she has to really do, and then kind of figure it out from there going into the semifinals. But yeah, I think Caroline Garcia is definitely a good, solid pick to come out of that group. What group is that? The Tracy Austin group, or is that the Rich group?
No idea.
I can't remember the names. I was like,
is it not? Is it not? I was gonna say, is it not Tracy Austin and Pam Shriver, or is it somebody else?
It's
Nancy Rich. Is it?
It's Nancy Rich. It's Nancy Rich. I think Nancy Rich is the group with Pegula and Ons, and I think Tracy Austin is the group with
I could not tell you. I've got no idea.
I think so. I like knowing
it's 6 and half a dozen. Exactly, it's a group. It doesn't.
It's a group. As long as there are 8 players, I really don't care. But yeah.
Honestly, I would say this one's harsher. Obviously, you kind of expect Swiatek to get through, and you would say Swiatek, whatever group Swiatek's in, is tougher. But really, it's tougher to call. I would say the level of all 4 players is pretty similar: Pegula, Jabeur, Sakkari, and Sabalenka. So yeah, I think this group is probably the most unpredictable for me.
Yes, I agree. Of course, anytime you get lumped with Iga, it's going to be a tough time because Iga's the top player in the world at the moment. But when you have players that are all relatively around the same level, some of them have different issues, of course. But each of them with their different issues, of course. But when they all are around the same level, game-wise, mentally, stuff like that, I think it makes it a little bit more interesting. Because
for sure.
It's definitely challenging to kind of see. It's like a tug of war to see who really comes out of that group, who comes out on top, who's more consistent, who can control their mentals a little bit better, and then who can execute when needs to be. So I like it. I like the fact that it's a little bit more balanced than the other group, because the other group, you're pretty sure that Iga's going to come out. It's going to be Iga and whoever doesn't flop in that other group.
Exactly.
But this one is like, you can see all 4 of them coming out depending on how the results go.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, the match of the tournament so far has been Jabeur and Sabalenka. I thought that was great. By the way, Jabeur has just pushed a forehand wide, and we're now 5-1 to Pegula. But never say never. I've seen crazier comebacks in any match, so it could happen. Jabeur, actually, on it, you were saying you weren't sure about Jabeur's ability to come back, Ashley, but there's a few I can think of for sure. Where the US Open in particular, there was loads of times she was down in sets. She was facing the opponent, serving for the sets. Kudermetova, for example. Shelby Rogers had her a set down as well. And she came back from all of those. There's times, as you say, purple patches within matches. She might be really bad, and then all of a sudden it's unpredictable. It's difficult to call. So for me, 5-1, love 15. She's still not out of it. She's one of those players that can just turn it on. Although Pegula has just nailed a backhand return, by the way. It's love 30.
Yeah, I think when I said that earlier, I was kind of thinking of referring to when she's up, or sometimes when she is down, she kind of just loses herself, especially when her opponent is playing so well. There are times where she can just lock in and get the job done, or push it to a third. But there are other times where when the player is so good that it's just hard for her to kind of lock in. We saw a little bit, even though she was up at Wimbledon, where Rybakina came back and eventually won the title. Sometimes her mental just comes and goes. Like, she forgets that she's playing a match and she has to be locked in. Of course, it's not easy to be locked in for 2-3 hours at a time, all the time, for every single point, but you have to be locked in for a good chunk of those points. And I think that's her issue. Sometimes she kind of becomes unlocked, and that can create issues because her opponent is locked in. And that creates issues.
The biggest.
So I don't I don't want to imply that she can't come back or she's not good when she's down. I just say it's a little bit trickier for her when when her opponent's locked in and she is not locked in. If that makes sense. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
I know Ons has the capability of coming back. She's a top player. Everybody has the capability to come back.
No, I mean, I totally get what you mean, actually. And I mean, that first set has just went the way of Pegula 6-1. I think the best example of that I can think of to support your point is when we see Jabeur going for the drop shot return. That's probably my biggest pet peeve with Jabeur. I mean, I've seen it work like 2-3 times in the 20 odd matches I've seen of Jabeur, is probably more than that. It lapses in concentration sometimes, but again, it's what makes ons. I mean, obviously, it's hard to say anything like this without sounding negative when she's just been breadsticked. We'll bear with her. I'm sure she'll pick stuff up. I am confident that she can find some sort of way. Again, it was the forehand there for me. Every time I was looking, there was forehands going wide, forehands going long, barely ever in the net. Actually, she does like to sort of flatten it out a bit. It's a very feel shot rather than a lot of the heavy loaded spins onto her, like Swiatek's, for example. This is going to be difficult. I'm scared that we could continue to see this, actually.
Yes, for sure. I'm looking at the stats right now, and for as good of a returner as Ons is, for Jessica to win 91% of first serve points in the first set, that's just not very good. That's not very good. And she didn't hit that many first serves in. She only hit 50%, 11 out of 22. But of those 11 that she's hit, she only lost 1 point on that first serve. 7 winners for Ons, 10 unforced errors. Jessica 4 winners, 5 unforced. So it's really, I think Jessica's cleaned up her game, and Ons just came out and did some wonky decisions. The forehand was not on.
That really was the main thing for me, actually. That if that doesn't start firing soon, I'm terrified for how this match is going to
go. That forehand needs to fire soon, because that her first serve points won Ons was only 38% in that match. So
I mean, we're pulling her apart right now, but honestly, the serve, just while we're at it, we can finish our roast of Jabeur now, and then we don't have to keep roasting her. For me, the serve as well, the first serve can get spotty sometimes. She doesn't quite hit it down the tee as often as you'd like. When she starts hitting that spot, for me, that's when she's playing really well. But there's times where she starts missing that. The first serve gets a little bit ropey. She is one of those players that likes to get the first serve in, so she's not on the back foot. She's got a good second serve, but a lot of the time, she likes to be in the front foot from the first point. Just make her life a little bit easier on that forehand side, right? So
I agree.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough comeback. Serve for me, but if she can get, maybe it does stem from the serve. Actually, I'm not sure. Get that first, possibly.
Maybe it does. I'm not entirely too sure.
Yeah. We're 15-all, by the way. Love. There's an important point. I'll try and talk the listeners through exactly what's going on. Already seen a sort of slice battle going on. Jabeur losing that. So even when she's in her own wheelhouse, she's slicing it a bit more, by the way. We're seeing a slice off right now, cross court. Jabeur gets a forehand. Lands one for a winner. Could that be the Renaissance? Fingers crossed. I just want a better quality match. I'm trying to be impartial, but I don't want Jabeur to get blown off court here.
Oh no, you never want to see anybody get blown off court. Of course, tennis fans want tennis. They want as much high quality tennis as they can get. So if Ons can pick up her level, that'd be great. It would be a great start to the match, to the night. I'm sorry, in Fort Worth. I can't say Dallas because I got slandered, because no, it's technically Fort Worth. I'm like, I call it Dallas. Everything is in Dallas. But I think I really want Ons to pick it up here.
Do you see that miss there?
Mm.
Yeah, again, trying to sort of half volley. It looked really good. I thought it was going to creep over the net actually for a drop shot, but it's now 30-all. Pegula, when Jabeur's in full flow, there's nothing like it. So honestly, just as a tennis fan, I agree. Come on, Jabeur.
Come on, Ons. I believe in
you. You're also right. Like, as a WTA Finals debut, you really would And the fact that her year hasn't been filled with top 10 wins, maybe there's nerves there. I don't know. It maybe feels like she's got a point to prove. That was certainly the case for Sabalenka, who eventually found her game. She was like 4-2 down, double break point down, I believe, but came back from that, and the emotions just poured out. Obviously, she's had one of the roughest years in her career, probably the roughest, I guess, in some ways, because there was a lot of success, but at the same time, deciding sets everywhere, just like so much energy expended on court, it just looked exhausting. So, I think maybe Jabeur in some ways could be in a similar position. 30-40, by the way, and Jabeur just missed a backhand return. Just before I get your thoughts there, Ashley. So back to Juice.
Yeah, I agree. Like Sabalenka, I talked about this on the last stream I was on. WTA Finals typically, or like, and on the other side with the ATP, they typically reward players that haven't had the most success. This year, during the year, which why a win that Sabalenka had a couple nights ago was so important for her, because she hasn't had those many moments in the sun. I hope to see Ons kind of come out of that little rut of like that rut that she has against top 10 players, because she is a top 10, she's a top 5 player, to get out kind of out of that mental rut of like, not being able to compete against her peers, because as a top 10 player, you're going to see your top 10 compatriots a lot, and you're going to have to figure out how to compete against those players, or soon enough you're not going to be in the top 10. I hope that I think it's a mental thing. I'm not sure. I'm not a sports psychologist, but it looks like it's a little bit of a mental block for her. I don't know what it will take. Maybe a big win here against someone that's just won a Masters 1000 in Guadalajara. Who knows? But I really do hope at some point Ons figures out kind of this little mental hiccup, or this like little yip that she has against top 10 players, so she can have moments like Arnya Sabalenka did a couple of nights ago.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting comment from Ghost, and I am willing to answer that, Ghost. I mean, yes, you're quite right. Everybody likes a first serve in the court, but some rely on it more than others. Think about Derek Kasakina, for example. Quite happy to roll the first serve in at like 80 miles an hour or so, get the point started, outlast them from the back of the court, maybe chuck in a cheeky slice there, start the loopy forehands to push them off the court. Not as important for her, right? Jabeur, though, she's got more to do with her forehand, likes to be aggressive, doesn't have the most rally temperament in that forehand. So the less she can do on her service points, the better, right? So first serve for her, much more important than Kasakina. Much more important for Sabalenka as well, of course, whose second serve is notoriously ski whiff. Although actually it's been a lot better the latter half of the year. Still a little bit double faulty. She's still the self-proclaimed queen of double faults. But I mean, for her, she probably needs her first serve in the most out of any of the WTA finalists. So there's a scale, Ghost. Thank you very much. By the way, Pegula does hold that. I've seen the stats there, just relaying exactly what Ashley said there. First serve points won 38%. Chizo. Jabeur stepping up to put herself on the board here. You obviously feel like it goes without saying this first game is incredibly important. Did Pegula land that? Did you see that shot there?
Yes.
God. Oh, it might be out.
That's correct. Listen, it looked like it was a little. It might have been just a touch out.
It was just long there. Yeah.
Okay. I don't have the best eyes, but I got decent eyes. Back to the point that Ghosty brought up about. By the way, hello, Ghost. Wow, he wants to see people blown off the court. That's crazy. People rely. I don't think anyone doesn't like getting their first serve in. Like you said, they rely on it a lot more. If you have like someone who can serve and volley, chip and charge, like Ons is someone who has a lot of variety. First serve is very important to kind of get the ball rolling on that, whereas Kasakina can just be like, and just she is content from grinding behind there. But I don't think people necessarily don't like it. I think people are just okay if it doesn't go in. Whereas Ons, as you can see, I think in the first set, her second serve points won were like 33%. And I don't know how many she got. I'm going to double check to see how many she got in. She didn't get too many in on the second serve. So it's she needs that first serve. It's kind of like Coco, where Coco's first serve is
similar.
Is very similar, but Ghosty, why do you want to see Jessica get blown off the court? Are we not a Jessica Pegula fan?
I get it. To be fair, very steady, very consistent. Nothing particularly mind blowing about her game in some ways, but there's a lot to appreciate there. I like it. I liked how much she was coming into the net in Guadalajara. Jabeur certainly a lot more easy to like in terms of her game style, obviously. So I do understand it. It makes sense.
I for one, I'm not that big of a Jessica Pegula fan. I just want to be clear. I just like poking fun. I just like messing with people. That's all. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Blown off the court. Well, she blew off Ons and off. She blew Ons off the court in that first set because 6-1, not great.
Not great. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on that statement about first serves because there's two players. Swiatek again, obviously Swiatek. That's an obvious one because her second serve so heavy. Doesn't matter too much if she doesn't get that first serve in. She's not really going to miss the second serve, and she can mop up in the next shot. Fine, but the other player, Maria Sakkari. And it surprises me to say that. Nowadays, her second serve is loaded with kick. And honestly, it's her first serve is great, but she doesn't need it as much as she used to. So anyway, that's my piece on that. I can't believe I'm saying that. But yeah, Sakkari. I mean, actually, I can't believe I'm saying that. Sakkari's won a lot of matches this year. Everybody just kind of sees her losing all the big ones, right? So yeah, Sakkari deserves a lot of credit. She's got a lot of stuff going for her game. And if she can keep everything under wraps, she's got a good chance.
I think the last stream I was on with Miles and Nick, we talked about top 5 surfers in the WTA, and both me and Miles put Sakkari up there. I can't remember exactly where I put Sakkari, but we mentioned the fact that she had a lot of kick in her serve, and she's one of the few WTA players that can hit a pretty decent kick serve. And that's really something so vital to have in her toolbox. And I listen, I love me a good kick serve. I don't know what it is about a kick serve for me, but when someone hits it so well, it's just pleasing to me.
That's cool.
I love a good serve, honestly, which is kind of crazy because I attached myself to the doll, and for a good chunk of his career, he didn't have the best serve.
Fair.
But I also attached myself to Serena, who has one of the best, if not the best serve.
Probably the best. I would say the best, yeah.
So, balance.
Yeah. If I was talking active players, I can think of Osaka, Rybakina, probably Qinwen Zhang has got one of the best as well for me.
That's a good pick. I like Zhang.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, she's great.
I didn't listen. I wasn't sure if we did say it was active players, and we kind of did forget about Osaka. That's kind of bad. Not gonna lie. But we love Osaka over here. But she when that serve is on, it's pretty hard to read and pretty hard to return.
It is.
And that ball toss is probably one of the cleaner ball tosses in the WTA. So.
Oh, quick segue. Sorry, we're skirting the Jabeur match. She's currently playing a break point in mid rally and out of nowhere keeps the ball low enough with her forehand. Pegula slices it long, so Jabeur gets the first break of the second set. Thank goodness we're getting a decent match here. I think. By the way, just a little summary of what we've just seen in general. As we kind of called it, she's not doing tons with the forehand. We saw a forehand winner here, a forehand winner there, but generally she's just putting them in the court. And honestly, she could beat Pegula playing below her best for me because Pegula doesn't like these conditions. Jabeur was just pretty god-awful in that first set, to be honest. Just start putting a few more balls in the court, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm looking at those first serve points and those for both of them. And of course, you can't maintain a 91% first serve win rate. So it's dropped all the way down to 67 for Jessica, and then also 47 for Miss Ons. So it's up for Ons and then down for Jessica. And she's getting, I think Jabor's return points are also getting up a little bit better. So she's returning a lot. So far, she's returning better than she did in the first set, which honestly, you can't get much worse. I mean, you could get bageled, which is the much worse. You can't get much worse than what Ons was playing in the first set. So she had nowhere else to go but up. I also had the Nadal match on, and I just saw that Nadal lost, so that's kind of sad. But it's
Nadal lost, did he?
Yes, Tommy Paul won. That's kind of crazy.
Hey, well done, Tommy. No, take advantage. You know, Nadal's not the best player indoors. We all know that, and obviously bit of rust after not playing for a little while. He's not, he's not invulnerable to that. He comes back from layoff sometimes, in his first match is normally pretty bad. But yeah, obviously we've seen him come back from layoffs and win slams and stuff as well, of course. But yeah, generally the first match tends to be pretty rusty. So well done, Tommy.
Yes.
That's a good win.
Yes, it is. Oz is a little bit of trouble after getting that break.
Immediately dumps another forehand in the net. Yeah.
So I'm at love 40. Are you at love 40?
Oh, are you? I'll catch up to you. I'm at love 30. I'm not at love 40.
Okay, I'm following along. I found a different stream.
Oh, right. Okay. No,
yeah, that's a little bit faster. We'll see if it stays that fast. We'll see. Because this Wi-Fi down here is just not great.
I was going to say, I'm currently watching Jabeur with her second serve on love 40. I'm happy to talk through it, by the way, for the listeners. Pegula hitting a clean backhand return winner down the line. So that's the break. Did you see that at the same time as me?
Yes, I did. So a bit of a wasted opportunity there. A bit of a loose game for Ons. Getting an advantage from getting that break. So we'll see if she can break back, see if she can get that advantage again. We'll see there. But bit of a missed opportunity there for Ons. Did some good things to break, and then to be broken at love in the next game. Not great.
This is exactly what we were just talking about. The purple batches followed by the troughs, where she again barely made any balls in the court there. Come on, Jabeur. Yeah, do something a little bit more interesting. That was a great return, by the way. Maybe we need to see the drop shot return. I know I slated it earlier. Maybe we need something a bit more interesting just to spark up her game. She won that point, by the way. Great little cat and mouse exchange there. With Pegula getting two overheads, but not managing to put them both away with some great air from Jabeur. So yeah, love 15. Maybe we can get the break straight back.
That would be exciting. 3 straight breaks. Get a little spicy there. No one can really hold. No one has an advantage. We'll see that. That should
be the case. Again, Jabeur's serve is great, but most of the time I would say she's not landing aces. Our serve's not quite good enough or consistent enough, I should say. It is good enough on paper, but she just doesn't land enough to make it a proper weapon. And Pegula's serve certainly is the same as well. It's sort of early 100 mile an hour sort of speeds, nothing that's going to blow your opponent completely off the court. So yeah, and especially in these conditions, the serve really shouldn't be making much of a difference.
Yes, I agree with that point. On serve is not enough to make it, get her some free points. Sometimes she can get it in and can help her out, but she does not get a lot of free points off of it, which kind of puts her in some hairy situations, especially when she's down like she was in that last game, 40, 15, 40, even 30, 40. Scores like that where she could use some free points where she really can't get those free points.
Yeah. By the way, we're seeing Jabeur starting to mix it up a bit, as we kind of expected, starting to slice forehand returns, stuff that's just a little bit funky. Honestly, I would like to see that. Pegula likes a high ball, something she can completely flatten out. She can get the ball back into court off a low ball. It's not totally absurd for her to do that, given her consistency, given her steadiness, given her hands as well, obviously having played doubles for the majority of this year and well as well. By the way, we just saw a drop shot return winner. So I did call it. It did happen. But
We
yeah, sorry. So go on, Ashley.
no, I just saw that point and I instantly thought of what you just said
Yeah.
of wanting to see the variety. That's hilarious.
It is the one that irks me a bit because when it goes wrong, you're just like you've wasted an opportunity there. But actually, that was very clean. Certainly off the second serve, fine. When she does it off the first serve, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Double fault from Pegula, by the way, 30-48.
Yes.
I'm willing to talk through the break point before we go any further because it could be quite an important one. Yeah, again, I want to see as much junk from Jabeur as possible, quite frankly. The more junk balls, the better. Yeah, Pegula with the first serve bounces off the net, so it's out. So we're getting a second serve now. Does Jabeur take it early? She is stepping into the court. Pegula with a kick serve out wide. Jabeur backhand cross court. Pegula only just getting it back into play, but Jabeur's forehand goes into the net. It's tough as a fan of her, I would imagine, right?
A fan of Jabeur or Ons?
Jabeur.
Yeah.
Jabeur or Ons. Depends if we're on first name terms, I guess.
It can be tough at times because they're very capable of just losing the plot randomly, which you really expect of like top 8 players, but it happens. So
we're honestly so lucky though to have her as the second best player in the world.
Honestly, yes. Yeah. For someone to bring such variety, and of course, outside of the tennis court, being the pressure of having the pressure of being a top 10 player, but she's also, carrying the pressure of an entire country and an entire continent, really. Every single time she steps on the court. So, we can nitpick as much as we can about her game. And of course, as fans, we like to harp on some things, but we're very fortunate to have a player like Ons at the top of the game, bringing so much visibility to a sport that's not necessarily visible at a place where she's from, and then also kind of setting it up for the future. So
yeah,
hats off to her.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's sing her praises a bit because we've roasted her enough. And there was one story she told after the US Open. It was so heartwarming. Like she was talking about Tunisia and their love for football, and I'm sure the record. There's never been records where one sport had broken records for a football match when they'd both been on at the same time. But when Jabeur played her US Open final, the numbers were unreal, and I think it touched her heart a bit. It was really nice, and it just shows the impact she's made on Tunisia, African tennis, Arab tennis as well, Middle Eastern. I guess it's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. All for that.
By the way, Pegula, I really should update this banner. Pegula now leading 3-2. She did manage to get the point there. Another missed forehand, unfortunately. Really is the shot that's not looking great today. I talk about Pegula hitting a flat forehand. Jabeur hits a flat forehand as well, and if she doesn't get a high bounce, it's not particularly pretty a lot of the time. The difference on grass is that she's happy to do different stuff with that forehand. She doesn't have to keep whacking it back into play. She can slice it over and over again. On hard courts, it can be a bit difficult if the ball isn't going particularly quickly. So
yes.
Yeah.
To your point about Ons missing these forehands, I kind of want to talk about maybe why she's missing it. Jessica, I know, is in her last match against Sakari when Sakari would kind of miss some shots. She uses the angles of the court very, very well. And that can force players to kind of, not be smart with, spraying shots long, not reading the court as well, not being able to redirect where like the kind of angle. And she just, she's just absolutely spectacular at finding those angles. And I think that could be a part of the reason why maybe Ons is struggle. Of course, Ons can struggle on the forehand even when the players are not hitting those angles. But that could be part of the reason. Maybe some of those unforced errors that we think are unforced, maybe be forced errors.
Yeah, that's fair actually. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yes, we can cut her a bit of slack. It's like, you're right. They're not conditions that sort of honestly hard courts in general. It's not the best surface for Jabeur. And I can add stuff to that. Natural surfaces, they tend to affect variety in weird and wonderful ways that Jabeur likes. You want unpredictable balls if you're going to slice it, if you're going to sort of chip and charge and stuff like that, if you're going to lob and stuff like that. You want the opponent not to be able to read the ball that easily, and Jabeur can just do that for days. And on those two surfaces, grass and clay, she can do whatever she likes, and it's stuff that other opponents can't deal with. Hard, it's just too predictable. You know the bounce you're going to get. It's a true bounce. Sometimes, it might be a bit windier, and that actually benefits from Jabeur, but generally, it's quite a level playing field with a lot of opponents on hard courts. That's why we've seen losses to, Claire Liu in Tunisia, Monastir, where she was playing her home tournament and stuff. Just losses you wouldn't expect to see from the world number 2 in the world.
Right, I agree.
Yeah. By the way, 40 love. So Jabeur did manage to get through. She's not through it yet, sorry, and I probably have jinxed her now. Apologies, listeners. 40-15. Seemingly comfortable service game. So, yes, she could get back on the board here without too much trouble. I'll talk you through this point just to let you know if Jabeur does hold 40-15. Jabeur with a first serve out wide. Pegula gets it back into play. Jabeur with one of those half volleys I was talking about at the start of the stream. Amazing defense from Pegula, though, to get back in the point out of nowhere. And again from Jabeur, what a point. Oh my God. Okay, like about 4 different times I thought it was the other person that was winning that point. That was great. A little bit of variety. Again, a little bit of, when Jabeur has like no time to think, when the ball gets rifled at her and she comes up with something magical, I think that's when she's most dangerous. When, she's just not allowed to think about what she's got to do. It's just instinct.
Yeah, I think that's when. Yeah, I agree. When she's at her best, when things are just instinctual for her. And when she doesn't, when she doesn't have to think too much. I think when she thinks too much, she kind of gets in her own way, which is not, like we said earlier, it's a recipe for disaster sometimes for Ons.
Yeah.
But yeah, she can come up with some magical stuff like that, like on the ball, and it's one of my favorite traits about her.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, not quite magic, but a slice drawing the error at least. So yeah, continuing to try different stuff. Again, just put balls in court. You don't have to absolutely rifle it in these courts. It's so slow. Smacking it as hard as you can and taking on that risk sometimes just isn't worth it. So I wanna see more of this from Jabeur for sure. At least to take us to a third, right, Ashley? Love 15, by the way. Deep backhand return. Crazy forehand slice just goes flying along. It's a nice idea, but yeah, I don't know how to feel about shots like that. Those are the ones that kind of knock me back a bit. It's like, okay, I shouldn't have said anything.
Like, okay, I understand. One of my favorite phrases when I don't understand something or somebody does something I don't necessarily agree with, I'm like, I'll let you have that. And so anytime that Ons did something, I'm like, I don't think I would have done that. I would I'm just gonna let you have that one, Ons. You like a little bit of spice in your world. I can't hate on
that. Did you just see that return, by the way? Just hit a clean return winner off of a 101 miles an hour serve. Again, Pegula with the clap. Again, just to say I'll let you have that probably, because that was ridiculous. Gets another point, by the way, to go break point. I'll hear your thoughts and I'll talk for the break point.
Listen, I love it when we see a good return winner and Ons is going to give those ones. And we've been talking about it. It was a forehand. So I'm glad that it came on the side that she's been struggling with this entire match.
A good confidence booster. Pegula misses her first serve out wide, by the way. So we are going second serve. Could be a massive point for Jabeur. I'll just talk us through it. Pegula questioning whether or not it was out. There was a bit of space there, Jess. Second serve. Down the tee, takes on a lot of risk. Oh my God. But the forehand clips the net and just bounces wide. So Jabeur marches to the chair. We're 4-3. Come on, Jabeur. It's been, it's been a tidier set. There's still moments where me and yourself, Ashley, are like, what the hell are you doing, Ons? But generally, relying more on variety and not trying to hit through Jess at every given opportunity is seemingly a lot smarter strategy. Jabeur leads 4-3, right? Have I got that right?
Yes.
With a break of serve. There we go.
Let's hope she doesn't squander this opportunity.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's been good actually. This set in particular has been good. I'm when I'm getting blown away by shots that are going out as well. I'm still kind of enjoying it. But yeah, Jabeur coming up with some pretty crazy stuff. That return winner in particular, by the way, Pegula hit a perfect 100 mile/hour serve out wide basically, and Jabeur, yeah, lent on it, had a bit of side spin on it. It was again one of those ones that looks like it's not going to find the court 9 times out of 10, but when it does land, it blows you away. That's been the story of the match. It's been the story of our career, right, Ashley?
I agree. like 9 times out of 10, that shot's not going to go in. But with ons, it turns into a shot that's going to go in, which which I absolutely love.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Jane here. Hi, Jane. I'll put that up very quickly. And then Nick, after sustaining, I believe, Nick, a Nadal, Tommy Paul epic, the end of a Fritz Simon epic. Were you there for like 3 hours or so, Nick? 4 hours, maybe?
I'm surprised that man is still up. That's crazy.
I know, yeah. I mean, it's 11 o'clock. It's not awful, to be fair, Ashley. I'm sure Nick's been up later.
I'm pretty sure he's been up later, but we all know that he loves to get his little Z's.
Slow start for ons by the looks of it. Yeah, Nick, that's an understatement. The forehand was absolutely diabolical.
It was. He said, back. I was going to be a little bit nicer about it. He said diabolical. I was like, it just wasn't working.
Yeah. I'm sure Oz would agree with me.
She would. She definitely would. She'd be like, "What do you mean it wasn't working? It was not great. 4 hours. 4 hours.
4 hour shift from Nick. Wow. I believe Isabel was there as well. I mean, did you guys have anything to talk about by the end? Was Nadal just like? I mean, what happened with Nadal as well? Actually, Nick, let us know, and we can let our viewers here know, because I have no idea how he lost that. Obviously, I said that. He's not the greatest indoor player, but I would like to know what your opinion on it was. Adrenaline pumping. Was it a good match? Wow. Okay. Wow. 30-15, by the way, for ons. A little bit tidy on the serve there, getting a few 1-2 punches. Pegula trying to slice, comes up with the goods, actually. Jabeur can't come up with a slice of her own. Again, those improvements to slices and coming to the net and stuff like that. Been an amazing improvement to Pegula's game because of the doubles she's been playing with Coco. Great stuff.
Yes. The doubles with Coco has definitely helped a lot with her net awareness. I don't think she was ever really bad at the net, but you can just tell she's just taken a step up since partnering with Coco.
Yeah. Exactly. You're right, Ashley, but I think it's also just about knowing when to come forward more.
Yes.
She did it a lot against Zachary. Our awareness of when to approach the net was really outstanding, and it's been a trademark of her game throughout the season. It's not the reason she's in the top 10 necessarily, but it's a nice little bonus when you have to come up with something a bit different against a really good player.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Nadal has been away a while, Nick. Makes sense. I don't know if he's injured necessarily, but as I was saying to Ashley, yeah, he comes back from injury and he will go on to win big tournaments fairly soon after. But a lot of the time, playing that first or second match, he can look pretty rusty. So maybe it's not that surprising.
Yeah, he was returning from a very long break to an indoor tournament that he has not had very, very much success in. So losing to someone that has been playing a little bit more, who's in a little bit better form than him, losing in, I believe it was 3 sets. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Or Jack. I was referring to Nick when we were talking about the Rock match, but you're right here. Duh. But yeah, I'm not surprised that he lost the match. I kind of thought that it was going to be it was a very tough draw for him. I knew somebody, Shapovalov, Tommy could upset him early and had the capability to. So yeah, hopefully we'll see him in a little bit better form at the ATP Finals, but we can never guarantee that.
He's bottom of the pile for me, along with Ruud, Rublev. That might be it, actually. Maybe even Carlos. Carlos, not the best player indoors. I think those 4 players are looking like I'm not totally keen on them. Djokovic, though, Felix, Daniel, even after today's loss to Dimonor played an absolute clinic, by the way. He deserves a lot of credit for that one.
Yes.
Did what Daniel does to everybody else and barely ever missed on his backhand. So yeah, no, not too much about Daniel's form there for me, although the double faults at the end were a little bit worrying. But yeah, they're the free favourites. And then I'm forgetting somebody, but I can't quite remember who that is at the moment. Anyway, we're talking about the WTA Finals, right, Ashley? Unless you can fill in that blank, we'll come back to
I believe you were missing Andre Rublev.
No, I said Rublev.
Oh, did you say Rublev?
Yeah.
Who are you missing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'll figure it out when I don't need to figure it out.
Steph, it happened last time as well.
Yes.
I keep forgetting about Steph. Steph's in that pile as well for me. Steph against the top players this year has been not the greatest. Jabeur's just rifled a forehand winner down the line, by the way, for Love 40, so we really should come back to the match very briefly just before we keep talking about the ATP qualifiers. Jeez, Love 40, I'll talk through this point. Jabeur looking determined. Big first serve down the tee. Somehow Jabeur gets it back into the play, and Pegula, back into the court, I should say, and Pegula skies the forehand. The Tunisian fans in the crowd going wild. Love it, actually. Jabeur's looking good. What a return. I agree, Nick. I don't know how she got a rack on it. I don't know how she got the ball in the court at all. Great stuff. What's Ghost saying? All joking aside, I think he's got a bunch of chronic injuries. That zombie foot thing would have retired most players. He does have a zombie foot thing, and yeah, you're quite right. It probably has to have some effect at some point, right? We even saw it at the French Open. A few of his matches, obviously it didn't matter the amount of advantages he's got. He could literally play in one foot and beat half the players there.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah. What a good match. What a good set from Ons. Just, after, a very, very poor set. Just gets kind of locking us, especially on that forehand side, to hit some of the forehand winners that she came up with during that set. It was like night and day between the first set and the second set on that side.
100%, yeah.
And she was able, like I mentioned at the beginning of this little broadcast that we got here, she was able to rush Jessica a little bit, which I thought she could on her serve because Jessica's not the best server, while as Oz is one of the better returners that Jessica's going to face in this group. Yeah. And I knew if Oz should just get in play, she can kind of rush her, and Jessica could be in some trouble, and we saw it there in the second set. So that was a much improved second set from Ons. I'm glad to see it. I love anytime we can get to a third set. I love it. So hopefully my prediction holds up. We're at 3 sets. We haven't named a winner yet, but I'm gonna cross my fingers.
I agree with everything there, Ashley. There was a moment as well at the start of the second set where there was still a bit of spillover in Jabeur's form from the first set. She survived that little patch, and as the second set wore on, more forehands in the court, but also just those sort of crazy junk shots all going her way, basically, and putting Pegula in some tight spots. So I think more of that, honestly. I don't want to see the forehand get tight in another Sabalenka situation, sort of 4-2, with double break points in the third set sort of situation. Although that was more about Sabalenka for me than Jabeur. I would give Sabalenka a lot of credit there. Still, there is a chance Pegula could put Jabeur under pressure. I don't want to see the forehand getting ropey. Keep stuff simple, Ons. Keep it simple. Keep stuff junky. It's probably the opposite of simple, I guess. Keep stuff junky. Get the slices in. I like that. Keep going. That's a double fault to open, by the way.
Yes. We don't like a double fault. We don't like that, but it's okay.
I like that phrase. Is that
Listen, I say, but it's okay to like everything. I'm like, it's okay. We'll make it work.
That's how I feel about Jabeur today. I gotta say, second serve. I'll talk through this point because it could be kind of important. Pegula puts a backhand down the line, and it immediately wins the point. Pegula, one of the best players on tour, at changing direction at the drop of a hat without people really knowing what's hit them, basically. And Jabeur immediately scrambling for that. It's a low 30 now. Again, I can let you know what happens here. It's kind of an important point in the match because all that momentum from the second set is gonna, if she can't win this game. So big first serve out wide, very very nice whipped one. But again, that short forehand that I was talking about at the start of the stream, whipping long. So we're now love 40. All that momentum about to vanish, it feels, unless she can get it back on track here. Big first serve. Down the tee. And prompts an unreturned. An unreturnable from Pegula.
That's a free point right there. I'm not worried. Well, I mean, it is Ons, and my prediction hinges on Ons coming out with some momentum. I'm not too worried about this, but we'll see if Ons can figure it out, can come out of this game. But if not, there's still a lot of time in this third set to kind of pace ourselves here.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Great backhand from Pegula down the line to immediately put Jabeur in the back foot. Pegula just takes a little second instead of coming into the net, takes on the short backhand, and Jabeur somehow gets it to Pegula's feet to draw the error. I mean, the second to last shot was incredible. So yeah, a bit of magic, as we were talking about. Gets another first serve down the tee for another 3 point. Jabeur in this mood's amazing. I love points like that, on the brink of just like losing all of that momentum, hits a shot like that, and all of a sudden it's juice. And we could get that foregone conclusion that Nick was talking about. Is that an ace, by the way? I didn't see where the ball went.
I didn't catch it either. I'm sorry.
I think it was an ace. Don't worry, Ashley. It was an unreturned serve anyway.
Unreturned serve. She's starting to get those free points that we talked about earlier. Sometimes she doesn't necessarily get.
When she starts rolling with that, exactly. The rest comes. I wouldn't expect it to. The forehand's now working somehow. Like if she can not miss this one, she's still in the rally. Actually, it's not over, and she does eventually miss the forehand. Actually, so scratch everything I've just said.
Forget everything that Jack just said. Forget it.
Back to juice, unfortunately. We'll talk through this one. Ons with a big first serve out wide, but just misses it, so we're now on second serve. And Ons delivering a second serve to the Pegula forehand. They're stuck cross court. Now slicing. Jabeur with a forehand slice to try and draw the error. It does draw the error. So yeah, more of the junk balls. Love it. Good stuff.
Hashtag junk ball tennis, guys.
That's my favorite kind of tennis to watch a lot of the time. As I say, number 2 player in the world doing that sort of stuff is super exciting.
It's really fun because you don't typically see that from a top player. But hey, man, anything to spice up the WTA, well, even more than it is because it's pretty spicy. I love it. I love a good jump ball. I love it.
Another forehand in the net, by the way, from Ons. Really does feel important because, as you say, it's such a momentum player. You feel like this could be a 6-1 set to Jabeur if she wins the first game. We feel like it could be a 6-1 set to Pegula if she wins the first game. I think Nick is I don't think it is a foregone conclusion. This does feel really important. Momentum's so big for her. Misses a backhand into the net, a little bit of a choice shot, and it's now break point. Again, happy to talk through this one. Jabeur with the first serve. Out wide, but just misses it into the net. So second serve now. Jabeur with the second serve. Out wide, Pegula's backhand. Pegula rifles it cross court. Somehow Jabeur gets it on the baseline. Has she missed that? That can't have been in by much.
I think it was slightly in.
Pegula seems to, I think Pegula's doing a face like she thought it was out. But oh my god. Playing with fire, Jabeur. I love it. So good.
Playing with fire, playing with, very little margins. By the hair of her chinny chin chin. I love it,
Oh my god, yeah. Jabeur with a crazy backhand down the line. Doesn't take advantage though, so we're now still locked in a rally. Pushes a backhand long eventually. You kind of feel like Jabeur should have won that point there, to be honest. Had a chance stepping up the court, but decided to slice it. Kind of not knowing when to go junk ball, kind of, aggression. The balance is kind of all over the place at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
5th break point of this game. Jabeur delivers a first serve down the tee perfectly, but Pegula somehow gets it back. Low ball for Jabeur at the net. Pegula with a lob. Jabeur only just gets the drive volley onto the line. This is a good game.
This is a very entertaining game. A lot. No one really taking charge of the momentum at the moment. We'll see if we'll see if whoever can come out of this. Both of these players rely a lot on momentum, so I think whoever wins this game is going to have pretty much their way in this set.
That shot was so difficult, by the way. The drive volley. Jabeur
Yes.
was falling backwards, had to get it perfectly into the space, basically. I think Pegula would have got a racket on it if it had been a few inches to the right.
Right.
So great shot. By the way, Jabeur just put away a backhand cross-court winner, so it's now advantage her. What's that? This only exists in the women's side. Chapeau. I love his lefty backhand. I don't know. Do people not like that? I'm not sure. Drive volley. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by Ghost here. Drop shot from Jabeur, perfectly weighted, and gets the open court with Pegula almost falling into the stands there. So it's now game Jabeur. Exciting stuff.
That was a big game for Jabeur to come back from love 40. To take and had I believe 5 break points in that set of that game.
Yeah,
that was very important for her to come through with that. So good on her to figure out a way to get through that. To Ghosty's point about Chapeau he does get a lot of crap for his backhand, but I think it's more so he doesn't know when to play with margins. Sometimes he goes for too much, too many times, like too much in a match. Whereas
this is where Ghost's comment came from.
Yeah, junk ball. To be fair, we both have very, well, my accent is less prevalent than Jack's, but
yeah. I've got a broadcasting accent now. Actually, I do feel like I speak a lot slower, but still a lot gets lost in translation. That's fair enough.
Yes. Yes, my southern twang mixed with Scottish twang. It could leave for some things to be lost in translation.
Ghost, I love Seisui. I think she's great. Obviously, similar to Jabeur in the fact that she just comes up with anything and everything from any position on the court. Great player.
Yes, I agree. Anyone that can come up with any shot from anywhere in the court gets a lot of respect for me. Even if I'm not a hardcore fan of them, I'm like, yeah, I enjoy watching them play because I know there's going to be some entertaining points, and I love a good entertaining point.
Yeah. Hugo Gaston comes to mind on the ATP side as well. I love him. Even if he never makes it past the top 50, he's such a good player. He's great. 15-30, sorry, I didn't even notice that. 15-30 on Pegula's serve, Ashley.
Yes, 15-30. Jessica's in a little bit of trouble here. That was a very long game. That first game, and she had several chances to come away with the break advantage, but she didn't. So we'll see how she does. It's now I'm at 15-40. All right, where are you?
I'm 15-40 as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Go saying Harmony Tan. Yeah, Harmony Tan is the Hugo Gaston. Hugo Gaston is Harmony Tan for me. Drop shot king and queen for me.
Mm-hmm.
Break point, by the way, first serve out wide. Jess gets a short ball. Jabeur with a bit of a variety there with a sort of slice lob thing. Gets a backhand though and nets it. Really shouldn't have went down the line there. It wasn't on. It would have opened up the court. Shot choice sometimes just a little bit suspect. Advantage. Oh no, sorry. I'm thinking it's juice. What am I talking about? It's now 30-40 to Jabeur. She's still got one more break point to work with. Pegula with a first serve out wide. Jabeur just clips I think she might have framed that backhand possibly, so she just pushed it wide. Unlucky, it's probably one of those ones I would have expected her to make, to be honest. So that was a pretty tough break. Back to juice here. This feels very important. I think, as I said, if Jabeur can win this, I feel like she might run away with it.
Yeah, 2 pretty monumental holds at the beginning of the set. I enjoy the tension that we're seeing at the beginning of this set. You can tell that both players really, really want to get on the board with a win in this group at the WTA Finals.
Mm-hmm. It's an advantage, by the way. It's not quite the hold yet. Actually, of course, we've got Pegula now at advantage, trying to deliver a first serve to the body. Unfortunately, misses, so it's now a second serve. Again, I'll talk you through whether or not Jabeur's aggressive here. Second serve to Jabeur forehand, just hits it down the middle of the court, gets another forehand, but it goes miles long. She had all the time in the world. Again, this is what we were talking about. Gets the high forehand. It's just so hard for her to control sometimes. It honestly should be the Pegula target for me. I suppose it's quite difficult to go in there with pace because a lot of the time she's quite good at redirecting it. She should use it to her advantage, though, I feel.
I agree. I definitely agree with that statement. But yeah, I think right now they both need some easy holds to kind of maybe cut through the tension they may be feeling mentally right now, because two holds where both returners had multiple break points, it's a lot to overcome. So maybe just an easy hold to kind of work their way in would be beneficial for both sides. We'll see which side gets that easy hold. We'll see.
It's great. It's great. Honestly, it's great to see Jabeur fighting like this, though. After such a difficult loss to Sabalenka the other night, one that really you could argue she should have won, from losing the first set to Pegula 6-1. She's really, really upped her game and has come back from 5 break points down in her first game. Great fight. I love it. 30 love, by the way.
Love a good fight. I love it when I need to, like, any player that, especially because a lot of times when players was set like that 6-1, they kind of go by the wayside, which I was a little bit worried with Ons there, but she kind of locked it in that second set. I'm sorry, we're in the third set right now. And she's showing a lot of fight and a lot of grit, especially in that first game, coming out the hold and immediately facing break points. That was very crucial for her.
Probably the quickest service hold of the match for Jabeur, by the way. That was lightning quick. Barely even noticed that she sat down there. I've seen a bit of shot placement coming up on my stream. I don't know if you're the same, Ashley, but I can sort of talk through this. It just looks like they're saying Jabeur's shots aren't particularly deep in the court. Analysis like this kind of annoys me. There's not much that's helpful here. Basically, they're trying to claim that. Well, I don't know exactly what they're saying, but I have heard analysts say Jabeur started to hit deeper in the court. That was why she started to do so well. The reason she wasn't hitting deep in the court is because Pegula was putting aggressive balls. She was making the plays. It's not like Jabeur thought, "Oh, I better hit deeper in the court." I'm starting to rant. Go
ahead. I appreciate a good rant. I appreciate it.
I can get sidetracked here. I don't want to get too sidetracked. I think the way that they use stats sometimes is an absolute clutch. Like that. That wasn't a good stat to show. Anyway.
Listen, you're always going to get sidetracked if you're ever going to do a broadcast, a stream with me. So embrace the ranting. I appreciate a good rant, especially when it's something that's very important to the match. Shot placement. Jessica Pegula is someone on the tour that can get a lot of depth on the shot, and she, like we mentioned earlier, she can change direction at a drop of a dime and force players to not hit a good shot deep into the court. That wasn't the best that they could show there, but you know what? We'll let it slide this time. It's okay. We all make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate that. I agree, Ashley, and I feel if I was broadcasting, then I might also clutch at some stats to show. So I can't fault them too much. You're quite right. Jabeur with a crazy forehand cross-court return to open Pegula's second service game of this set. So we're now love 15. Love the level she's bringing here. It's great to get through a service game like that. No drama. Immediately come out with a crazy return like that. Are we seeing that purple patch you were talking about? Nails a return, by the way, but the serve was out, fortunately for Pegula. So we're now on second serve. Just talk through this one because I feel we are getting some good stuff from Jabeur here. Did you see how close that one was, Ashley?
I did catch it. It was pretty close. It was pretty close.
Very close. It was very close.
It was, like that little, that little space of daylight.
I feel like, we're talking about those purple patches. Jabeur's got to capitalize. For me, this could be a really important game because if there's going to be a dip, it's probably not here. Did just miss that return, to be fair. And I really feel like she should knuckle down here.
Yes, I agree. If she wants to kind of get out of here and make life a little bit easier for her during this third set, I think now is the time to take an advantage.
Big first serve to the body, by the way. Jabeur getting it back and Pegula going for a forehand inside out that she just misses. Going for, she doesn't tend to hit that shot, by the way. She's quite happy to hit the backhand, cross court or hit down the line. So obviously trying to find a bit of a gear here. Jabeur maybe making her just play a few more balls than she should. Surprising given Jabeur's forehand is still a little bit ropey, but anyway, Jabeur getting a forehand return into play, just misses the forehand right on cue. So we're 40-30. But yeah, no, I'd like if I was Pegula's coach, I'd be telling her to put more balls in play. To be honest, I don't think she has to be as aggressive as she is being. Maybe she doesn't like the junk balls, Ashley. I don't know.
Maybe she doesn't. Yeah, I think putting balls in play will be a little bit better for Jessica here right now. But like I said, I don't think she likes the junk. I don't think she likes not knowing kind of what's coming next from her opponent. Yeah. So maybe she's trying to push the issue, which it could work out into her favor. But I'm telling her it just kind of pace herself a little bit and just put the balls in play.
Exactly, chill. By the way, can you hear that noise? Is it quite loud?
Yes.
Yeah, I can mute when I'm not talking, but there's a little wind trap in my garden, and it makes a bizarre noise when it gets really gusty. So I'll try and keep myself muted when I'm not talking.
It is a-okay. It is a-okay.
So long as it's not too distracting. Yeah, Jabeur obviously getting distracted as well as she misses her forehand inside. See that, John Silk, if you're listening? That was a great segue there. He loves those.
Excellent segue. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Misses a forehand inside out. So it's now love 15 on her serve. As we were saying, purple patch is generally followed by, what's the opposite of a purple patch, actually?
I don't know. Maybe just poor play.
Yeah, I thought there might have been a turn of phrase for it, but maybe not. I'm sure. Oh, Ghost doesn't know what purple patch means. Purple patch is a sort of period of, within this context, of play where you're hitting any shot you like and they're all going in. Just sort of peaking, basically. If you know what peaking means, Ghost. I was going to ask Ghost actually what the opposite of purple patch was, but I guess he won't be able to tell us if he's not certain what purple patch means. Anyway, yeah, amazing serve from Jabeur. It is now 30-15. Again, lovely to see her just kind of rolling through service games. Ashley hits another unreturnable serve, 40-15. It's feeling like, I don't want to say it out loud.
You're trying not to jinx ons, I can tell.
I know, yeah. Yeah, she's playing well. I'll leave it at that. That's a factual statement. She is currently playing well.
She is. Ons Jabeur is playing well. Period.
Ooh, did you see that return, Ashley?
Yes.
Oh my God, from Pegula.
Yes.
Jesus, that could be one of the turns of the week.
That was crazy. That was woo.
Yeah. Only I believe it's fair of me to say Caroline Garcia could rival that one probably. She loves to take those really early ones and just blast them sometimes. That was a great one from Pegula. Second serve now. Will Jabeur get a little bit ropey? I'll talk you through this one. Could be important. Big serve out wide. Goes back to her feet though. Jabeur with a forehand. Manages to get it in the corner and it's good enough for a winner. When she does land them, obviously they're great. But yeah, it's just a question of whether or not she can land them. Yeah, she's got that side spin to it. I love that. Sometimes it's good just to aim it to the backhand because it does just sort of crawl away from her opponent. She likes to come round it a bit, But yeah, great shot. 3-2. Let's give that forehand a bit of credit for one set. Ashley?
Yes.
I'll update that.
I'm just reading the comments here, and Ghosty has pointed out that the WTA is kind of getting a little bit of bad press because of the small crowds in Texas. And yeah, there wasn't too, I believe we were talking about this in the last stream I was on. I believe this was not on the calendar until about a month ago, which is not the best way to market a big event with top 8 players in the world. And then also it's the event started in the middle of the week, and it's in a region that's typically not as receptive to tennis as maybe the coast, so New York, Orlando, Florida, SoCal, Miami, places like that. I honestly appreciate the WTA kind of branching out into a new region of tennis, especially since they're At least on the American side, there's a good bit of tennis players coming from the southern part of the United States. So maybe just kind of reaching to that fan base that does exist in the South. But it's an imperfect science. You don't know who's going to show up. I mean, the crowd that's there, whether it's sold out or not, seems to be engaged. So honestly, that's all I can ask for at this point, quite honestly. Especially since there are so many times where there's crowds at WTA events that may be larger than this one that aren't as engaged. But yeah, I just wish maybe more and more into the week as we get closer to the weekend, more people will come. I do know. I think finals is on a Monday, if I remember correctly. The final is on a Monday.
Yeah.
That could be
it spills over into the next week, right?
Yes, I think that could be a potential problem. You don't really want your final match to be on a Monday. I'd rather it end on a Sunday, but but I think the crowd there it has been supportive, and we'll see if the crowd keeps increasing. It's towards the end of the week now. Tomorrow's Thursday, and then Friday, and they're in Dallas. I mean, somebody's gonna come back out to that event. Somebody's gonna come out to the event, of course.
Yeah.
Now we're back on serve. I am at love 15 for Jabeur.
I am now at love 30 as Jabeur plays a great bit of rally temperament there. I'm a little bit ahead. I can rewind 10 seconds, actually, don't worry. So I'm now seeing Pegula net that backhand. Maybe I'm a little bit behind you now, who knows. But yeah, we're now at Pegula love 30. Again, Jabeur actually putting a lot of balls in the court there. Maybe not the theme of the match so much, but great. She's obviously knuckling down, maybe senses her moment. Love 30 here. Happy to talk through this one as quite an important point. Pegula with a great serve out wide. Too good, in fact. Jabeur not able to get the strings on the ball, so it is now 15-30. Very, very good serve from Pegula, by the way. As we're talking about 3 points in serve, that's a bit of a rarity from Pegula. So yeah, great serve. Seriously big moment. Misses the next first serve though, and now has a second serve. Will she take risk in this one? We did see it once earlier on. Goes for a second serve out wide. Nothing on it really. And not enough because Jabeur's backhand cross court just putting Pegula off balance, and she nets the backhand. So we're now at 15-40.
A couple more break chances for ons here.
Love it. Oh, well, that's my bias spelling out right.
We're not on the BBC. We're not on any official network, so your bias can come out a little bit here. It's okay.
Fine. In that case, I'm not particularly pleased that Jabeur couldn't get another racket on another wide serve. So we now are at 30-40. Again, happy to talk through this one. Could be one of the points of the match here. First serve missed, so second serve probably will go to did I jinx that? Probably will go to a rally the way that Jabeur has been returning. Second serve to Jabeur's backhand. Does get it deep, so we're in a rally. Trading backhands. Pegula gets a forehand inside out. Pegula tries slicing. Jabeur managing to get a great forehand into play. Pegula's challenging.
Ooh.
So did manage to get the next forehand, her own forehand into play, but decides to challenge and it was out. Never mind.
Oh no.
I was certain that was in. That's why I thought that play had been paused to. Oh, that's gutting. That's okay. Whatever. We go on. Juice. What's Ghost saying? Yeah, I'm happy to.
He said shamelessly flirt.
I'm happy to inform you as much as I can, Ghost. There's a few Scottish ones that are a little difficult to replicate, so I try and avoid them. But yeah, British ones I'm happy to give you as much as I can. Back to the match, by the way, very quickly. They are playing a rally. Pegula's backhand's just skipped off the net. Jabeur had time on the forehand, and she missed it. Advantage Pegula.
That seems to be like the theme of this match. She had time, but she missed it.
Again, that's not the worst. It's not the easiest to add pace to a slow ball. And for all the greatness of Jabeur's forehand, there's times when she's come up with some absolute worldies. So, that's a hold, by the way. So that's now 3-all. This is getting quite exciting. I feel like they're bringing out the best in each other in some ways. Just
Yes.
the odd shot going flying, but in general, it's a good quality match.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I like it when players bring out the best of each other. There are times where, one player's playing really good, the other's playing really good, and they're not matching each other's levels. But I see that we're trying to I see during this they're trying to match each other's level, and it's producing some pretty great points. And I appreciate that. It's entertaining
Yeah.
points.
Speaking of, again, right on cue, that forehand from Jabeur, we're not getting a slow-mo of it, unfortunately, because because it wasn't a winner, it doesn't look super flashy, but that was great. I mean, it was basically a half volley that I would have expected to miss every day of the week, to be honest, but manages to get it. Pegula going for a drop shot right into Jabeur's wheelhouse, though. Happy to sort of slice it into play. Gets a very, very difficult overhead into play for a winner. Jabeur peaking right now, by the way.
I love it. I love it. I love it when the little purple patch is coming into, or should we say peeking? Purple patch or peeking? Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, genuinely interested. I peeking has crept into my vernacular from watching some video games online. I've got to say that I think they tend to use that on there. It's not a sports term. Purple patch definitely is. So yeah.
I use peeking in sports talk.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I do. I maybe, of course, it's very popular in gaming talk. As a retired gamer,
Okay.
retired. We don't have the time to be gaming no more. We just simply do not have the time. But I used to use it like, oh my god, they're peaking. They're peaking. She's peaking. If you get that reference, 1,000 points to your Hogwarts house.
I've got no idea.
Oh man, did you not see the match against Jessica Pegula and Simona Halep? She's pushing.
Oh yeah. No, I do know that. Yeah.
I use it every single time. She's pushing. She's pushing. Anytime Jessica's on a match, I have to make that reference at least one time. I'm like, she's a pusher. She's pushing.
It's quite ironic, isn't it? There's a little bit of the pot calling the kettle black there in some ways. That's a British idiom, by the way, Ghost. I'm sure it's self-explanatory. Pegula's a little bit of a pusher.
I'm not a Brit, but I've been hearing pot calling the kettle black my entire life. Is my family British?
Okay.
Is my family suddenly British? I mean, pip cheerio. Like we can embrace the Brit in me. But yeah, she was kind of calling a pot. She was calling the kettle black right there, because that was. Yeah. I'm like, you push sometimes too, Jessica. Push. I hate using that term because it does have kind of a negative connotation, but I love that moment that Jessica had because it was so funny.
One of the moments of the season. I did forget about some of those, actually. That's definitely one of my favorites. It was very funny. We were talking about Small Cat earlier. I mean, to remember that as this season, obviously, it was that long ago. But
oh my god, when was Small Cat? Was that the Australian Open?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
That was Medvedev in his Australian Open semi-final against Stefanos Tsitsipas. It was great.
That was the most wild thing ever. I was like, oh my god. Like, does that umpire realize what he just called it?
I know, yeah. It took me so long to get it. I had to have somebody else tell me what it meant.
I immediately got it, and I gasped. I was like, oh my god. First of all, why did I get it so quickly? And then second of all, the fact that he was so bold to even make it
I don't think you say something like that. Yeah,
is it a euphemism?
It's just so Daniel. It was very good. And by the way, we're totally getting sidetracked now talking about Small Cats. It's a love 15, 4-3. Jabeur did manage to win the first point with a great backhand inside out. Follows that up with another backhand cross court. It is the shot that's sturdier when you need the job done for me. Great for her to get a few and Pegula's never going to kick the second serve anywhere but the backhand, so in a way it kind of falls into Jabeur's wheelhouse if she keeps getting second serves, which she does on this point. So it'll be interesting to see what Pegula does with a second serve. Maybe ask her to put some pace onto the forehand.
Yes, she
doesn't, and she double faults. Love 40, Ashley.
Ooh, love 40. We got some chances again. Miss Owens, there's some chances for you here. We'll see if you can take it.
Again, though, to be fair, she was in a great position against Sabalenka. Could we get a similar thing? I'll talk through what is definitely not a virtual match point, but could be a very important point. First serve down the tee, but misses. So now second serve. Again, if Pegula still regards herself as in this game, it'll be interesting to see what she does with it. Second serve to the backhand, skips off the net. Is she having serve problems here? Going for another second serve now. Again, she's just going to go for the backhand, I'd imagine. She does. Jabeur rifles it cross court. Should be winning the point. Does, yeah. Amazing. I'm kind of if I was Pegula's coach, I'd be livid at that play. But yeah, anyway, Jabeur deserves to be 5-3 up. That was some great stuff. Seriously is peaking now. Amazing. We're at 5-3 Jabeur serving for the match.
We'll see. My prediction is looking very, very strong. I'm gonna hold my breath though.
Oh yeah. You said Jabeur in 3, right?
Yes, I did. I said Jabeur in 3.
I think I said Jabeur in straights, and then no less than like 30 seconds after that, she was down like 5-1 in the first set. So it was a bit silly on me.
Yeah. Hey man, we all make mistakes. You know, we all can't be perfect.
Yeah,
listen. I'm not even perfect. I said that Jessica was going to win in 2, and she lost in 2, so it's okay.
That's very noble of you to say that and make me feel a bit better. Ashley, I appreciate that. Still, I did pick Jabeur as the winner, so I'll take that at least. She's 15 love here. If she can win the next point, she'd be in a lovely position. Gets a second serve here. Really, really important for me to see what she does here. I'll talk us through it because it's getting a little bit nervy. I don't want her to go into a tight position here. Pegula gets a really great forehand return inside out. Now in the ascendancy, gets her forehand down the line. It is now 15-all. Jabeur didn't really do anything wrong there for me, to be honest. Just Pegula got a great second serve return into play.
Yeah, can't do much when you get a good second serve return.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all you could have said was make the first serve, basically. So if she misses it here, what she does, things could get a little dicey. Second serve, happy to talk through it because it's squeaky moments in the Jabeur Pegula match. Second serve into the Pegula forehand. Just happy to roll it into play here. Pegula managed to get a forehand in the line, gets ahead, gets a short forehand and misses it. That is not very Pegula. Obviously, felt like Jabeur was coming up with some wonder shots, I guess.
Yes.
Does not miss that shot much.
No, doesn't miss. No, not at all.
Again, it's surprising to see her go for the forehand. Maybe she feels like her backhand's just not punchy enough in these courts. She's happy normally to just use that backhand day in, day out. Stay in the middle of the court. Jabeur with a great forehand approach, and we're now 2 match points.
Very excited. Very, very excited.
It's had its moments, actually, hasn't it?
Yes, this match has had its moments. It's been a fun match. Anytime Jabeur is on the court, most times she brings the excitement just by her style of play, whether she wins or loses. So it's always a fun time watching Ons.
I wonder if the Americans will get an American match won, by the way.
The Americans are struggling. It's okay though.
Happens. Jabeur wins the match with Pegula spraying a backhand wide. Kind handshake there. No hug though, I suppose. Maybe that's Pegula just feeling a little bit let down there, possibly. Jabeur, great match, I thought, actually. Apart from the first set, obviously. And apart from a little spell in the second set, just managed to rally from there. Great, tidy match overall. I'm very impressed with that. How did you feel?
Yeah, outside of the first set, of course, I think Ons came out and made a little bit too many mistakes to start the match, which kind of gave Jessica an advantage there. But for her to kind of lock in and not go by the wayside after losing the first set 6-1, that was very, very important for her to come back and give her a little bit of confidence. So now she's 1-1 in the group. Jessica's not feeling too great because she's fallen to 0-2. So Ons is in pretty decent position now, and I just love the fight that she showed kind of shut me up talking about she doesn't show too much fight. Which I'll take it. I will take it. I'll take it. I'll take an L any day of the week. I don't do this stuff to be right. I do this stuff to be proven wrong. So I'm glad that my prediction. I'm glad my prediction was right.
Well done,
Cheers.
Ashley. Yeah, very good shout to say Jabeur free. Very, very impressed. You always maybe should take into account a Jabeur spike or a trough is going to happen at some point in the match. So 3 sets is always a good bet with Vaughn's right. I'll do a little rundown of exactly what happened. Ashley, I'll be repeating stuff that we've been talking about the whole match, of course, but other people who are just joining us who've just come off the match, I guess. For me, first set, Jabeur's forehand all over the place. It was going long a lot of the time. It was going wide a lot of the time. Spraying is the word I would use for sure. Kind of had to survive a little moment at the start of the second set, again with the forehands going long and wide. However, managed to rally just with a few first serves in play. Started to throw in more junk balls. Pegula just looked a little bit unsettled, a little bit like, what do I do with these balls? The low ones, especially for a flat hitter like her. And Jabeur kind of rolled through the second set. Honestly, Pegula kind of lucky to get away with 6-3 there. The level in the third set, very, very close. Again, Jabeur, let's remember at the start of the third set, had those 5 break points to save. Really, really great. In fact, that was insanely impressive. That that was probably one of the moments of the match for me. If she hadn't won that game, we would have been looking at 5-3, Pegula serving for the match and stuff like that. So very, very important game for her in the end, with some unreturnable serves in particular doing most of the damage. The forehand generally started to find the court more often than not, although there was the odd time, actually, where I was like, still, what's going on? But overall, because of the serving, because of the variety, the slices in particular really, really thrown Pegula off her game. It didn't really matter her missing the odd forehand, because overall, I thought she was great and able to destroy that backhand return enough times to get Pegula reeling. Really, really good match, Ashley. How did you feel?
Yeah, anytime you can get Jessica to kind of go away from her backhand, which is the better side for her, you've done a good job in the match. And I think what we call is junk ball. Excuse me. Oz's junk ball kind of worked out in her favor, and I just think this was a really, really good, solid win for Ons. Not every win is going to be pretty, not every win is going to be perfect, but she found ways to raise her level when she needed to, especially at the end of that third set and the middle part of that second set, as you mentioned, to just find ways to win and come out and just play a little bit better than Jessica. I don't want to say Jessica played a bad match. I think Ons just played the bigger points better than Jessica did.
Yeah, the old adage there working very, very well for this match in particular. I think if you wanted to get an idea of the most important point in the match, it was that first game of the third set, and you realise why Jabeur deserved to get the W here. Especially, that was such an important win for her in a lot of ways. Keeps herself in contention. Another top 10 win where there's not been a particularly large amount of them this year. Really, really important for her just to give herself a chance at her first WTA Finals. And who she got next now? Sakkari, right?
Yes, it should be Sakkari.
Yeah, how do you feel about that matchup? It's a little, honestly, for me, probably favours Sakkari, and if she doesn't feel the nerves, probably the more likely of the two to be able to hit through the court, whereas Jabeur might struggle a bit. But obviously, never say never with Ons, right?
Yes. Sakkari could definitely hit through the court a lot more than we saw from Jessica today. I would lean Sakkari at the moment, just based purely off of gameplay. But Ons has a lot of confidence right now coming off of that win, and confidence does wonders. So never say never. But I think I'm leaning Sakkari as an early prediction.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. Again, though, I really wish we had the crazy mathematical calculations you've got to make to know what scenario each player would go through in. So it's Sakkari versus Sabalenka tonight, right? If Sabalenka were to win that, she would have 2 wins. I think it would become it would definitely, in fact, become a shootout between Ons and Sakkari. Should Sabalenka beat Sakkari tonight? If Sakkari wins and she's got 2 wins, then I believe Ons still has to beat Sakkari to qualify, right?
Yes.
So I think either way, Ons is going to win that match. She can't
Yes.
have one win and still qualify. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure where sets won or lost come into play. I'll have to do some digging on that. But Ans does control her. I think Ans has control of her destiny at the moment.
Actually, she might not have to win. I'm talking rubbish because if Sakari gets all 3 wins and everybody else only has 1 win, they'll have all defeated each other, right? Once. So it would come down to sets. So the fact that Jabeur lost to Sabalenka 3 sets gives her a decent chance, actually. So that loss maybe not as stinging as a lot of fans might feel in the end.
Yeah, so she still has control of her own destiny. We like to see that. This is the type of tournament where you want to be in the driver's seat and not depend on your compatriots. But
yeah, of course. Yeah, and if we look at the other one as well, I know obviously it's a lot of Ons fans here, but I'm sure there's a lot of Jess fans here too. Pegula, as I say, isn't totally out of it yet. She would have to have Jabeur lose to Sakari in the following match. Pegula will be against Sabalenka in the next round. Again, probably one of those players that could hit through Pegula's defenses from the back of the court on these slower courts. Sabalenka looking really, really gritty again against Sakari. I would expect it to go to 3, just given Sabalenka's record this year. By the way, Sabalenka is the only player on the tour to have played more deciding sets this year than straight set matches, which is unreal. That's more than 50% of the time she's going to a third set.
That's a lot of pressure she's putting on herself.
Yeah. It's actually wild. But yeah, anyway, yeah. So Pegula does still have a chance. The fact, again, that she lost in 3 there is good, but because she lost in straight sets to Sakari, she obviously is not in the best position. I still think she'll be up for it. She's, a consummate professional and stuff. And I think it hurts that these conditions really don't suit a game, and that maybe can sap the motivation a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if you look at Medvedev on clay is a good example. Is always the one I go to when we're talking about motivation for a surface you're not particularly keen on. Bublik as well. A lot of the ladies actually tend to just get on with it and don't complain that much. But those 2 in particular come to mind as whiners on the surface. They're generally just happy to not tank, but don't come out all guns blazing anyway. But yeah, as I say, maybe Pegula doesn't voice it. Pegula maybe will just feel like it's a bit of an effort to go out there and give her best against Sabalenka in conditions that she could get blown away on.
For sure, yeah.
This was a great stream. Really enjoyed it. Ashley, who are you going to be watching next? Do you have anybody on your radar? Are you just taking it as you come, basically?
Yeah, I as a big Coco fan, my eyes are always on Coco, whether it's singles or doubles. But honestly, with the WTA, I just enjoy so many players on that side. So I kind of just enjoy the tournament. So there's not too many players I'm particularly keeping my eye on the entire time outside of Coco. Maybe Caroline Garcia. But I'm honestly just enjoying the top 8 players just go at it. Throughout the week.
Goff will have a rough time now, I believe, because she lost in straight sets to Garcia. She would need Caroline Garcia to... No, in fact, you wouldn't want a Caroline Garcia win over Swiatek. You'd want Swiatek winning all 3 of her matches because let's be honest, Goff's record against Swiatek, she could beat her, obviously, but her record's not been the greatest over the years. So if we assume she's losing, you'd want Swiatek winning the other 2 matches. And then you'd want Kasatkina beating Caroline Garcia, which is not the most likely proposition given the matchup there. It's quite a tough position for Coco to be in.
Yeah, very, very tough position. I was very shocked to wake up to that result, but we'll see how it goes. Even if she doesn't make it, I just enjoy, or make it to the semifinal round. I just enjoy watching her brand of tennis. I enjoy.
Yeah, of course.
I'm a tennis fan. I just enjoy tennis.
Of course, yeah. Honestly, though, because the courts don't have the ball set up so much, but they are slow, they're actually pretty decent for Coco, and they could be a little bit of a leveler in the Swiatek matchup, possibly. Mm-hmm. Also, she'll still get purchase from her serve, where she wouldn't on clay, and obviously has the far more superior first serve of the 2 players, Swiatek and her. So There are a few things that could go our way. It's not a totally done deal. I would love to see her peaking against Swiatek. That would be one of the matches of the tournament. Never say never, Ashley, but
Yeah,
yeah,
for
we'll
sure. That would be highly entertaining to see.
yeah. Is that what's on tomorrow night? Just so we can give the listeners an idea. I'm
I
pretty sure
believe
it's.
I believe so. It was tomorrow night.
I'll just double check. I feel like Caroline Garcia and Swiatek's in my head. It is actually Swiatek and Garcia first on Thursday, and then it's golf and Kasatkina tomorrow.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
so we'll see. Coco and Casakina. That's a more favorable matchup for Coco. So I guess they're saving their big ticket matches for the weekend, which is smart. But
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of changes everything because I do believe. Well, I don't think Coco has a favorable head-to-head against Casakina. I'm not too sure off the top of my head.
No, I also don't know. I'm gonna look it up. The thing is, because Kasatkina doesn't have a ton of pace, and Garcia,
Yeah.
Goff even likes to defend and then find our way through her opponent.
Yes.
Kasatkina could maybe test that. It's actually 2-love. You're right. It's 2-love to Kasatkina against Golf. I can't see because I'm getting a support free content ad coming up. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to close it. They played somewhere. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, the head to head does favour Kasatkina actually. So worrying.
Yeah,
Maybe.
a little bit worrying, but I'm not entirely sure when those matchups were. I believe it was a little bit earlier than this year. I don't think they played this year yet, off the top of my head. But I think honestly, these courts suit Coco's game, and it's just her coming out and executing, protecting that first serve, and then really challenging because Coco's a very good returner, and as we stated before, Kasakina is very, very comfortable with just going and starting the point and starting the point. And I think Coco really needs to take advantage of attacking those serves that can be very, very weak from Casakina.
Yeah, sometimes that can be an issue for Coco. I feel like offensive play isn't her forte as much as defensive play. Obviously, we've seen Golf play games where she's red lines and she's fantastic, but it
Mm-hmm.
comes more naturally to her to defend first and then find the opening. So yeah, Kasatkina will be tough, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not a given she beats her. So it'll be
Yeah.
really interesting to see what happens, Ashley. And obviously, would make Swiatek Coco live on Saturday should she win that. So from an impartial point of view, I'd love to see her win it just to see a really dramatic match on Saturday.
Oh yeah, it'll be very, very dramatic on Saturday.
Yeah. Ashley, are you happy to close up shop there? Do you want to cover anything else before we go? Have we said everything we need to say on this pretty crazy match?
I'm pretty good. I'm ready to close up shop if you're ready to close up shop.
Yeah, I think I am. Yeah. We've covered everything we can for now. Ashley, do you know off the top of your head, or at this moment, if you're going to be here later in the week, or is this your only appearance you've committed to at the moment?
This is my second appearance of the week.
Oh, you'll probably be here later in the week then.
I'll be around. I'm pretty sure I probably won't be around tomorrow or Friday, but because I have other obligations. Your girl's always on the go, go, go. But Saturday is pretty open at the moment. Sunday, of course, I'll be around because it's Sunday. No one does anything on Sundays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be around if you ever want me to pop in, talk some ball, talk some tennis.
Cool.
I talk every sport. I call every sport ball.
We're called talking tennis, not talking ball, Ashley.
Okay, I apologize. We're talking tennis over here.
Actually, honestly, talking ball rolled off the tongue though. I thought it was going to be a little bit more clunky. It's not that bad.
Doesn't it just roll off the tongue? Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it's not awful. Myself, I've not committed to anything as of yet, but I'm sure I'll be here in the near future. I would very much like to cover Coco and Swiatek, so there's a high chance I'll barge my way in there and somehow find myself on the panel. So I'll probably be there for that on the Saturday. If it's live, I might not feel as enthused if it's not, but fingers crossed. Ashley, it's been a pleasure. Really, really good to speak to you and talk to you for the first time properly as well.
Yes. It was our first time. It's kind of crazy.
I know, yeah, that's what I mean. It felt like I'd been talking to you for ages, but yeah, this is our first time speaking, so great to properly speak to you, Ashley. If you want to plug yourself a bit, Ashley, where's your Twitter? Is at Ashley Woods? Is
Yes,
that right?
yeah. So my Twitter handle, my Instagram, and TikTok, even though I don't use it, is at Ashley M Woods, ASHLEEMWOODS, all lowercase. If you enjoy just general sports content and supporting a budding sports journalist trying to finish her degree. Yeah, that's where you can find me. Just talking sports, talking pop culture, talking random stuff. Yeah, that's where you can find me. Ashley M Woods, all lowercase.
Great, Ashley. Thanks very much. And I'm the same. I've got my Twitter handle on the screen now at online_Jack. Or you can go to onlinetennis.uk for podcasts, blogs, all that naffness. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been Talking Tennis. We'll catch you very soon. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.